Hello, I'm James Quantis, editor and publisher of Resource Opportunities, and joining me today is Doug Eaton, President and CEO of Strategic Metals, and Richard Drexler, VP Communications for Strategic Metals.
James.
So, thanks for being here, guys.
Glad to be here, James.
Yeah, great. Why don't we start with Mount Hinton, the high-grade gold project in the Keno Hill. You're drilling 7,000 meters. What's happening on the ground?
Okay, well, Mount Hinton, first of all, it's a project we own 100%, road accessible. It's in the Keno Hill camp, very, very well-known silver camp. And, since we talked last, we've got the crews on the project. We've announced some pretty exciting trench sampling results, channel samples and chip samples, most notably 200 grams across 1.2 meters in an area that we didn't realize before was high-grade gold, called the Southwest Zone. We started the drill program. We announced it a couple of days ago. 2 diamond drills working 24 hours a day, obviously. Plan to drill 7,000 meters before freeze up. If by some chance we get later fall than we normally would, or if the drilling goes faster than we anticipate, or if we really like what we see and we add another drill, we've got enough budget to drill quite a bit more than 7,000 meters, probably double that.
Yeah.
What we're looking at there are 2 main styles of mineralization. One of the types would be very, very high grade ore shoots, probably mined underground. That's what characterizes the Keno Hill district. So there's a photograph on the screen now of our land position shown in red. The purple is Alexco's ground, which covers all of the major lead, zinc, silver deposits that have been mined since the early 1900s. The Alexco mill is shown as the little mine symbol there. As you can see, it's just off the edge of our property. The other style of mineralization beside those high-grade underground targets would be bulk tonnage, heap leachable gold, like they were developing at the Eagle mine by Victoria Gold, just to the northwest of us. Obviously a brand new mine just being commissioned, looking to over 200,000 ounces a year. That's also a viable target for us. We see lots of sheeted veinlets and veins in addition to our high-grade veins. So we'll be assessing both styles of mineralization with this year's program. Right now, one of the 2 drills is working in what we call the Granite North Zone. It's an area that mostly talus covered. We found some really spectacular mineralization in there last year. One of the samples that was picked up ran 2,340 grams gold, pretty remarkable assay. Had almost 600 grams silver as well. That's in what they call the breccia zone up at the top end of that slide. We built a road showing zigzagging back and forth up to the zone. We'll be drilling off of that road, assessing multiple parallel structures, which are big alteration in breccia zones. We'll be obviously focusing most of our drilling on the higher grade mineralization. The second drill is up drilling what we call the Northern Structural Corridor. It's an area that extends about 4 kilometers along strike and up to 750 meters wide. Number of historic discoveries in that area. We'll be drilling some holes. That's at the the northern part of the slide, which Rich is putting the cursor on now. It runs in a band easterly across Murray's got right across there. And so that drill will be drilling across parts of that zone, looking for both high-grade veins and bulk tonnage targets. And then right as we're speaking, we've got an excavator building a road up into the southwestern zone. That's shown as a star in the southern part of the property. That's where we have the 200 grams across 1.2 meters. Another nearby sample ran 80 grams across a meter. So a very, very interesting target. And we'll be drilling there later this month, later in August, as soon as that road gets completed.
And how, Doug, in a typical, sorry to interrupt, but in a typical season, how long can you drill up there?
Last year, we were up on the steeper slopes until the 20th of September. With all the placer activity in that area this year, I expect the placer miners will keep their road open well into October. So if we're drilling down in the valley floor on some of the targets we have down there, I think we can probably drill into early October as well. As long as there's activity in the area and the roads are kept open, we'll be able to keep going.
Yeah, and drill plays are inherently risky, but the fact you're drilling 7,000 meters kind of suggests to me that you're pretty confident you're going to hit something there.
Yeah, we see the mineralization through more than 300, actually closer to 500 meters of vertical extent, and over long distances. So, when you're dealing with native gold, any given intercept or any given assay can be pretty erratic. But if we drill enough holes, I think we'll get a pretty good idea of the kind of continuity we have. And yeah, I'm pretty optimistic that we'll have some pretty good numbers out of this.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Okay, so why don't we switch over to kind of look under the hood at your major positions. So I think you have with the recent financing, you have about 12 million in cash.
Yeah, over $12 million in cash, that's correct.
And 27 million in shareholdings?
Yeah, that number obviously fluctuates daily. Yeah. The other day, we're in month end right now, it's about 27.5 today, and the other day it was pushing $30 million in shares of other companies. Some of the highlights in there, since we talked last, Rockhaven Resources, which we own about 35%, 36% of, put out a new PEA at $14.50 base price. It was really robust. It had a well over 30% after-tax IRR, and it looked really good. What I really liked about that one was that if you took a very seriously discounted base price down to $11.60, it still had over 25% after-tax IRR and a good payback on it. So, it's a very robust project. I know that they plan to start a drill program. I don't think they've announced their plans for this year yet, but I know that they've got a financing underway to top up their treasury. I think there could be somewhere between $5 and $7 million worth of drilling done on that project this year. So expect lots of news there.
And what's their market cap's about 20 million right now?
Yeah, it's still, I think, really undervalued. There's lots of low-hanging fruit on that one. Yeah. I think what makes that project really special is most projects, when they do a PEA, have pretty much quantified the mineralization that they have in terms of extent. Rockhaven's wide open. It can get a lot bigger than it currently is. It'll allow them to either up the size of the mill and increase their annual production rate, or have an incredibly long mine life. So again, I think that there's lots of news to come there. We talked last time about Precipitate. Not a lot of new news there, but I know that they plan to drill on one of their wholly owned projects, and Placer has an option on joining ground there. Dominican Republic, right alongside one of the largest gold deposits in the world Pueblo Viejo. So very optimistic about where they're going. Another little company we've got shares in, we own about 10%. Trifecta has announced just recently that they're going to be doing a drill program on a project in Nevada later on, the Yuge project. Great looking target. Optimistic about that one. And one we just announced today, right hot off the press, company that it's our largest single holding for juniors. It's a company called GGL Resources. They've got 2 drill projects planned now. They had the McConnell Creek, which is a wholly owned project in central BC, about 20 kilometers south of Chemis. They've got a Porphyry copper gold target there that's really never been drilled, that they're doing IP on next week and followed up with drilling. There's a flanking epithermal vein system there, very much like the situation at Rockhaven, that also has responded well to drilling in the past. So that's a neat project. And today they announced they acquired a project in Nevada that it's an old producer. There's a couple of mines that operated on that property, tons of exploration potential, truly a camp scale target. And we've got the ability to earn 100% in 2 of 3 projects there, and 75% of the third one. some spectacular grades still left in the underground that need to be reassessed. Lots of drill targets peripheral to it. And what I really like about that project is to a depth of 250 meters, they're still in oxide. So everything there is cyanidable. In fact, the historic workings produced 92 to 98% cyanide recovery. So very, very exciting acquisition. And I think, that's one that I think has got potential to be a 10 banger. It's, I think it's trading about 14 cents right now. And I think that it's got a lot of upside.
Is that project in the Walker Lane?
It is, and it's about halfway between Reno and Las Vegas, just off the highway. Road accessible, power right to the property. It's a project that's tailor made to succeed.
Okay, sounds good. So 40 million in cash and shareholdings, and I think you're trading at about a 70 million market cap. So take that out, and you're at 30 million kind of enterprise value, which seems cheap to me at a 1950 US gold price. But maybe you can talk about the large number of other property holdings that you have available that sort of aren't getting any much buzz with most of the focus on Mount Hinton.
Right. Well, just before I do that, I should mention two of the projects that we got farmed out to a private company are actually being drilled right now. Whether one program's underway, the other one's scheduled to start as soon as the first one finished. So there's two other drill programs happening in Yukon. The one, the Heartless Joe project, is a JV that partner has to spend $5 million to earn 60%. So we got pretty good leverage on that project. Other ones that we're working on right now, we've got ground crews on the projects, and the idea is to advance them from where they currently are. The idea is that get enough work on them in recent times to make them great targets for CPC transactions or IPOs for other companies. One is the Plata. It's got to be the second best silver project in Yukon. But what it has in addition to silver is it's got some great gold potential. And there's been drill intercepts on that project that are up in the 10 to 15 ounce per ton silver with better than 0.1, between 0.1 and 0.2 ounces per ton gold across a couple of meters. Some really, really nice targets. The gold silver system has been traced for 800 meters along strike and 600 meters down dip, and it's still wide open down dip and along strike. There's also very high grade, that's right in the plane of a thrust fault. Below the thrust, there's a whole system of silver veins. We've had assays up over 10,000 grams per ton, but chip samples of 2 to 3,000 grams per ton across a meter and a half silver. This project was so high grade that back in the 1980s, they walked a bulldozer in, took it right to the top of the mountain you can see in this photograph. They dug holes with the bulldozer, which is a very, very difficult job in that type of terrain, hand sorted the ore, loaded it into bags, and flew it with a 500D helicopter 11 kilometers down the valley where they came to an airstrip, and then loaded it onto a fixed wing aircraft, flew it out to the closest town, which is about 200 kilometers away, loaded it onto trucks, and drove it all the way from there, the entire length of BC down to the Trail Smelter, and they still made money, which has got to be the most incredible thing you can imagine. It just speaks to the really, really high-grade nature of the veins and the very high relationship between gold and silver. Here, the silver-lead ratios sort of range between 3 to 1 and up to 10 to 1. In other words, for every % lead, you're getting 3 to 10 ounces of silver. So it makes the transportation almost insignificant in the value of the ore. It's a great project.
How long have you had that one? When did you pick it up?
We acquired it actually about 5 years ago. Really haven't done much. It's got to be the only gold project that I know of that's got really, really good gold potential. And there's never been a sample on the property, a soil sample analyzed for gold. It's got just an enormous, again, a camp scale target that really deserves a lot more work than it's had.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the Mount the Plata property. Other ones, we've got a crew that's on the Alotta today. It's a project that's about 40 kilometers from the Keno Porphyry. Keno now has over 21 million ounces of gold and inferred and indicated resources. In addition to that, that's in the Porphyry. In addition to that, they've announced that they've made a new discovery out on the flanks of it where they've got epithermal style mineralization. They're up to 50 grams gold across 2 to 3 meter intercepts. So they're drilling on that. This project has been flying under the radar screen. You can see a very, very strong soil geochem anomaly. We're going to be expanding that this year with more sampling. Hardly any outcrop in the entire property, but grab samples that they've taken out of hand pits have been, definitely porphyry copper grades, better than a gram gold with 0.4 copper. So, very, very exciting target. But we think there's also potential here for flanking veins as well. So we'll know more about that soon. Again, another project we own 100%, no royalties attached to it. It's a very, very underexplored target. Another one that we're working on, I have done a lot of work on that we like a lot is the Hopper. Same type of porphyry system as what you have at Keno. Same age Pluton, same intrusive suite. There's a comparison between the Keno deposit shown on the right and the Hopper geochem shown on the left. You can see that the Hopper is an enormous anomaly compared to Keno. The deposit at Keno has been expanded a little bit from what we shown there, but it's not a lot bigger than that. The potential Hopper is truly enormous, and it's road accessible, fully permitted for a large drill program. Again, we own it at 100%. There's potential there for porphyry copper style mineralization, skarns. We've had great assays from the skarns and flanking vein systems. So
gold as well, Doug?
Yeah, some of the skarn intercepts that we've had that don't have any copper with them have graded 12 grams across over 2 meters. Some of the ones where we have combination, we're getting almost 2% copper with nearly a gram gold, almost 2 grams gold. That was across 18 meters. Another one that had low copper, but was nearly 2 grams gold across over 10 meters. It's a very robust system and needs a lot more drilling to be fully evaluated. And finally, there's one that we've just had the cruise on recently called the Groundhog. There we're sitting in the middle of an uplift dome, not very far from the old Ketsa gold mine. High-grade silver, up to 13,000 grams silver in rock samples. There's also gold in the core of the system. Spans an area of about 6 kilometers diameter for the silver, and the gold covers an area of a couple kilometers in the core of it. So it's again a large system with lots and lots of exploration potential. Own it 100%, road accessible. But that's just four of the projects that we've got in the portfolio. There's over 80 of our projects have got silver and gold as major components, and I would say at least 15 of those are absolutely standalone targets that a company could go public on with no trouble at all. They're absolutely defensible gold and silver projects. So we've got a real endowment beyond Mount Hinton that we can certainly allow some of those to be optioned out or sold to other companies.
Yeah. Well, gold is having its day. Maybe Groundhog will have its day as well, eh?
Well, it could be. I'm not sure what my favorite of the other ones is. Like, seriously, if we weren't already firmly committed to working on Mount Hinton, we could put drills on any number of our other projects.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to wrap up, maybe let's touch on where, I guess, the junior sector generally, but strategic specifically. So the last time gold was at these levels, your stock was trading at what, $4 or $3?
Yep. Yeah, we still got a lot of upside leverage. There's no question that the last time we got into a robust gold market, we were able to capitalize really, really well. We had 80 of our projects farmed out. I think that as people realize that this market's for real, and it is, we're not going to see a retrenchment of gold prices. We may see a correction pullback, but it's not going to go back to 1,200 gold again. There's been too much money printed around the world, and there's too much upward pressure on gold. I think there's got more upside still than it does downside from here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, so what's your take on, there's obviously some high flyers with, high grade discoveries and so on, but, what's your take on why a lot of juniors still seem, to be trading at fairly low levels given where we are at the gold price?
When the same thing happened to some degree back in the start of the last bull run, it takes a bit of time. The bullion starts to move. Certainly you see the royalty funds move. The big producers start to get the lift. That's happened with all of those. And then finally it filters down to the juniors. And what has to happen at some point is you have to see where the new resources are going to come. And the problem is that there hasn't been a lot of drilling done in the last 5 years by juniors. There's not a lot in the pipeline. So basically, we've got the ability as strategic as this market evolves to really put a lot of our projects in play. And I think the market, you can see companies like Great Bear have done really, really well because they've made new discoveries in a robust market, which is, I think the market is always looking for hot new stories. And I think the Mount Hinton has the ability to do that. And I think that some of our other projects have the same ability to really crystallize public attention. So look forward to talking to some other people who are looking for good projects.
Okay. Good stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks, James.